how to strongly agree and disagree. And this is an important skill to have because if you are talking with a friend and you want to signal to your friend how strong you feel, then you need to be able to do this. And we will learn to do this by learning two things. The first is we will learn how to use several adverbs to emphasize agreement and disagreement, and we will learn to use the stress patterns for these types of adverbs. So let's get started. Let's talk about adverbs for emphasis. We can use adverbs to make a point stronger. And some examples of these are strongly, really, totally, definitely, and absolutely. So let's get started. How do we use these adverbs of emphasis? Well, first of all, usually these adverbs come before the verb. For example, number one, I strongly agree. Number two, I completely disagree. Number three, I really think that. Okay? Here, my adverbs strongly, completely, and really come before my verbs agree, disagree, and think. Okay, so I strongly agree, I completely disagree, I really think that. Next, for contractions, the adverb comes after the contraction. Before I start talking about this, or before I start giving you examples, let me just state that a contraction is when you take two words, I am, and make it one, I'm. For example, it is, it's the contraction. That is, that's the contraction. Okay, so in these cases, the adverb comes after the contraction. For example, yes, that's completely true. Number two, I'm really convinced. Number three, it's absolutely true. Okay, my contractions, it's, I'm, that's, come before the adverbs completely, really, absolutely. Okay, so once again, yes, that's completely true. Two, I'm really convinced. Three, it's absolutely true. Again, now to negate the statement, we just add not after the adverb. Not before, after. Okay. For example, number one, no, that's completely not true. Number two, I'm really not convinced. Number three, it's absolutely not true. So here we go. Again, my adverbs completely, really, and absolutely come before the negation not. Okay. So let's talk about stress patterns for these types of adverbs. When emphasizing agreement or disagreement, the adverbs are usually provided extra stress. And this sort of stress is called emphatic stress. This means basically three things. It means louder, longer, and higher pitch. For example, I strongly agree. Okay? You can see that it's louder, longer, and it has a higher pitch. Let me give you three examples. Now, these are the book's examples, and the book is a little more subtle. I'm trying to present and demonstrate this to you. So I'm going to be less subtle. I'm going to be more explicit, more stronger in my emphatic stress. But I hope you will understand this better. So number one, I completely agree that holidays have become too commercial. Number two, I absolutely disagree that we should stop giving gifts on Mother's Day. And number three, I really think that we should give fewer gifts. Okay? Boy, that was hard for me to do. Let me do that one more time. Number one, I completely agree that holidays have become too commercial. Number two, I absolutely disagree that we should stop giving gifts on Mother's Day. Number three, I really think that we should give fewer gifts. Okay, to summarize, place adverbs before the verb. I strongly agree. The adverb comes first. Place the adverb after contractions. I'm really convinced. The contraction comes first. And place not after the adverb. I'm really not convinced. Not comes after the adverb. And then provide the adverb with emphatic stress. I completely agree. All right. That concludes this presentation. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts, comments, concerns, or questions, please email me or drop me a comment on the Google Classroom website. And please have a nice evening.